So what do you make God feel? If God's inside of you, how many times when we pray do we hear God as some booming outside voice? How many times have we been praying and we walk up to a burning bush? Not very often. How many times when you pray do you hear God inside your head? Do you feel Him inside your heart? Yeah. Much more common than the burning bush. God is inside of us. And because God is inside of you, what you feel, God feels. What do you bring to the table? When you wake up in the morning from a metaphysical perspective, imagine taking God by the hand and saying, this is an experience I'm going to share with you today. Let's go feel it together. Now with grabbing God by the hand and you are guiding God, what experience do you give God? Does God sit in a chair grumpy? If you do, He does. Does God get to go on an exciting trip with you? Hey, I'm so excited I get to do this and I'm going to do that. And my friend called and I get to go do. And God gets to feel all that with you too. God feels whatever you feel. That spark of God inside of you leads from the front. Do you choose to wake up? Do you choose to look at any situation and say, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? I can do it, but what's in it for me? Do I get paid? Do I get some money? Do I get some time? Do I get some admiration? Do I get some respect? Do I get, you owe me one? What do I get? Or you show up and say, how can I help? How can I help? I know that God has so abundantly taken care of me, so abundantly blessed me in my life. I'm just here to give back. What can I do? How can I help? Which do you have? Which do you use? What's in it for me? How can I help? Giving God the positive or giving God the negative? By giving to yourself, you give to God. By giving to each other, you give to God. Now we were raised, most of us, with a God. Let's look at the evolution of God for a moment. The Old Testament God. One of my favorite quotes in my book, Bridging the Gap, the first one, this guy says, all I needed to learn about God, I learned in Lubbock, Texas. I learned God loves you very much and you're going to burn in hell. And sex is the most awful, filthy thing on the planet. You should save it for someone you love. Now that's that God. Some of us started there. And then we moved over to this God. Jesus showed up on the scene and said, hey, I'm the good guy. Through me, there's a new life. I forgive your sins so you can go to heaven. And now we've evolved over to here, which is actually listening to the things that Jesus said, which is, I am a child of God, and you are a child of God. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. We are all co-creating our reality. And the things that I have done, the miracles that I have done, you will do and more. So we went from here to here to here. And when we get into here, okay, let's back up for a second. Over here, right, there's not much joy. There's, God created you, but He really can't stand you. And you're created to continually disappoint Him, so that eventually He can throw you in the backyard, throw some gas on you, and light it with a match. That's this guy. Right? Not much to be happy about. You can try really, really hard to live up to all the things that you think He's told you that you need to do, and await your punishment. I'm not much of a marketing guy, but I'm kind of wondering how that one hung around for a couple thousand years. Then we got this one, right? Jesus shows up. We know Jesus. Got the love of Jesus in my heart. Jesus, good guy. Many of you have heard me tell my story about that tall hippie guy that helped me out all throughout my life. This guy that was my best friend and is my best friend long before I knew who Jesus is. Well, this guy showed up and said, I bring the good news. I bring the good news. You're not made to suffer, and God is love. Wow. There's a lot there to get excited about. Now, when we come over into this part, we start accepting a little bit of our own accountability and responsibility to our lives, because we realize that light creates light. Two dogs don't make a chicken, right? God creates creators. And so we have the ability to create and to co-create this life experience together. Now in this part, we don't get to blame God. We don't get to blame other people. We don't get to blame anything. We have to look right in here. Wow, look right in here. Now that's good because it gives us the empowerment to change and to create whatever we want. But it's also a little spooky because if something's not going right in my life, I need to look in here to fix it. I need to look out there and in here and out there to fix it. We all have different teachers in our lives. We have different teachers that show up at just the right time, in just the right way, in just the right moment. This week, one of my teachers is a lady who joins Connections through the little box in the back. She catches us online on the video service. And I've known this lady for well over 10 years. And she has always done really, really well for herself, holding high-level positions in big corporations and government agencies. Now we read in the newspaper and it says the average American is 3 paychecks away from homelessness. And that's an out there thing. Well, for her it wasn't. It became an in here thing. She got laid off and she couldn't find another job. And she called this week and she said, Scott, I need some help, man. I am a light worker. I am a spirit-filled, turned-on, tuned-up mess. Said, I watch Connections every week. I get it, but my life ain't reflecting it. I've been living in my car the last 3 months. Luckily, some homeless folks befriended me and showed me where I can go get a shower and where I can go get a meal. But I'm at the end of my rope, man. I can't do it anymore. I need help. And it kills me to even ask for it, but I need help. So I put out a little blurb on Facebook, and I put a little blurb out, and I asked y'all, can you help? Any of us could be that 3 paychecks away from being in her position. It wasn't about judgment. Last week's sermon was all about judgment. It's not about judgment. Any of us could have been this person in this place. The joy I got to see after that, by the emails, the phone calls, folks saying, I'm praying, I'm sending energy, I'm sending abundance, I'm sending hope, I'm sending empowerment. Other folks saying, hey, I got some dough, I got a couple extra bucks, and I want to send it to this woman. I want to help her change her situation. Mary and I prayed about it, we emptied the God box, and we took everything that everybody gave, and we put it in a pile. And I was so excited. And we've been praying, and we've been sending her energy, we've been doing everything. It took us about 24 hours from the time we got the call to the time where we were ready to send some help. Because she said, dude, I don't know where my next meal's coming from. Right? 24 hours, we responded that quickly. Now, literally 30 seconds, we responded with prayer. The physical manifestation of the cash took another 24 hours. But then I got to call her. I get to make that call to say, where's your bank account? Where's your numbers? How can I transfer this to you? Or Western Union, how can I get you this dough? How can I get you this help was what I was thinking. Have you ever been thinking one thing and you get on the phone and something completely different falls out of your mouth? Yeah, that happened to me. And instead of saying, ooh, we've raised this money and we're happy to help you and blah, 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 instead what came out of my mouth was, how you doing? You feel better. She said, I want you to please thank each member of my Connections family that prayed for me. What I needed was the prayers. So when I got off the phone with you, she said, I went into a silent meditation, I went into a prayer, and I said, God, my life is not working for me. And she said, what I heard in my head was God saying, then change it. And she said, but I can't. And then she stopped, remembered a connection service, and said, what can I do? And she heard God tell her, hey, in the back of your car, in your trunk, are some old loose stones that you used to make jewelry that you would sell at metaphysical fairs. Go get that stuff. There's some folks who want it. And she took out that box, and she went from store to store to store and sold her loose stones. And she replenished her own bank account. And then she called some friends in Arizona. She was in California. She called some friends in Arizona and said, hey, what's up? And they said, we've been thinking about you. You need to come here. Now, in the same 24 hours that it took us first to pray and then to collect this dough, It took her the same 5 minutes to pray and to get answers, and to take action, and to drive from California to Arizona. And when I called her 24 hours later to tell her how we had stepped up to the plate, how we were so excited to have this gift to share with her, this money that would help to turn things around, that could help provide hope in a time of no hope, she said, "Thank you so much, and thank everybody for the donation. But you don't have to send it to me because I would like to donate it to Connections. I don't need it. I'm now in Arizona. I just got done having a great shower, a wonderful lunch, and I'm getting ready to take a solid nap. I am no longer homeless. My life has changed 180 degrees, and I am so thankful. And I can tell you that I could not have done it without the prayers I received." Wow. Y'all need a hand. Joy is a choice. We can keep struggling against the things that aren't working in our world, or in this co-creative stance over here, we can choose something different. We can choose something different. Wow. Wow, what a teacher. What a teacher she was for me this week. As I would look at the obstacles in my life, the things that weren't going quite the way I had anticipated, that I had sketched out on paper. Life wasn't following my timeline or my roadmap, and I was struggling against that. And I saw this woman, and I saw how life had really not been going with her timeline or her roadmap. And she taught me. She taught me, if something isn't working, do something else. And as you do, ask for help and allow that to bring joy into the worlds of everyone who feels called to help. Everyone who shows up with the "how can I help?" not the "what's in it for me." When she let out her plea, there was not one person in this room that said, "I'll help her if I get something out of it." Not one person. Every person who contacted back said, "How can I help?" or "This is how I can help." And they got joy from that experience. She got joy. She got blessed. The people she's now with in Arizona got blessed. She said, "I don't know who you raised that money for the God Box, but since I donated it back, my guess is somebody is going to have a need. And you're going to have the ability to fulfill that need when it shows up." So I think that's the part that God was asking me to do. She was asking, "How can I help?" Not, "What's in it for me?" Even when I was spoon feeding her, "What's in it for you?" She said, "No, we're good. I am abundantly taken care of. How can I help?" Wow. Wow. We are more than our circumstances. We are more than a snapshot of who we are in this moment. When we were watching this past Friday night, we were watching this Moses Code, and there were some really good, profound teachers on there. A guy named Mike Beckwith, maybe you've heard of him. Neil Donald Walsh. Some really, really good people, some intuitive people, some enlightened people. And there were people around the room saying, "Gosh, those teachers are great. Someday I hope to help people like that." One of the things I said in that movie is, God qualifies you as you say yes. All you have to do is say yes. And God helps you become the person that you need to be to do whatever you said yes to. I look at the snapshot of Mike Beckwith. Well, everybody knows is the guy who started Agape, wrote a bunch of books, was on The Secret, has done all kinds of really good stuff. And I remember his story of when he started. When he started, he was a drug dealer. Peddling drugs, trying to make a buck. Sitting in a courtroom waiting for his trial. And he looked up and he said, "God, if you give me a second chance, I will dedicate my life to you." 5 minutes later, the arresting officer came in to testify and says, "We've misplaced the evidence." And the judge threw it out. In that day, he made a choice. In that day, he stuck to that choice. And this is where he's come ever since. Neil Donald Walsh tells his story of being homeless for a very long time. That guy you pass on the street, that guy maybe you try to help, The guy maybe you try not to make eye contact with. Neale Donald Walsch was that guy. Conversations with God has touched how many lives? Neale Donald Walsch has touched how many lives? And how much joy has come from this? Not accepting a snapshot. I've told you all different times the story of when I lived in a Volkswagen bus with a couple other guys with no windows in the South Dakota winter. I was that. I am this. You get qualified by simply showing up and saying, how can you use me? How can I help? And help empower me to help in a more profound way. This is joy. This is joy. As little kids, we knew what joy was. We knew what fun was. Do you want to do this? Yep. Do you want to do this? Mm-mm. As adults, we're too politically correct. Well, I would like to, but I can't because of blah, 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 blah. We put a 30-minute explanation onto no. We put a 45-minute explanation onto, well, okay, yes or no. I want to, it makes me happy. I don't want to, it makes me sad. How much can we learn from a 4-year-old kid, a 5-year-old kid? We overcomplicated things, but we don't have to. Inside of all of us is still that child. Inside of all of us is that spark of God. And with that spark of God that isn't here to punish, that is nothing but pure love. The more pure love we allow in our life, the more joy and excitement we allow in our life, the more we allow God to experience that with us. Now, I'm going to challenge you this week to do 2 things. You got your pens and paper, write this down. Just kidding. The test is your life. This week, I challenge you to do more things that are fun in your life. That's the first one. Mary and I, overwhelmed with all the irons we have in the fire on Monday, said, no. We unplugged, we went to the beach, we played in the water, we rode the waves, we laid out in the sun, we got a tan, and we just had fun. I encourage you and I challenge you to find something this week, at least one thing, that really makes you have fun. And actually give yourself time and set aside the permission to do it. That's one half of the teeter-totter. Now the other half of the teeter-totter is over here. It's easy for us, if we allow ourselves to give ourselves permission, to take something that we know is fun and go do it. Here's the challenge over here. I challenge you this week to take something that is not fun to you and bring joy to it. Something that is not typically fun for you. Let's look at the skit, right? When sadness calls. Do you want to go to lunch? Got something to talk to you about. That normally we would say, oh, this isn't going to be fun. How can I get out of it? I challenge you to bring fun to it. Yep, let's go. They say if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. It's just a parade of butts, right? I invite you to lead from the front. Lead by example. Take something that is not normally fun for you, and you have the power to co-create it, to make it fun. And on the other side, you have the power to give yourself permission to do, be, live, or experience something fun. Without fun, it's not worth living. So I challenge you this week to find one thing that you can have fun with and actually do it. There'll be a test next week. And on this side, to find one thing that's not traditionally fun for you and make it fun. If you're willing to accept the challenge, raise your hand. If you're not, that's okay too. There's no judgment. We learned that last week. But I want you to think about this. Think about, in your mind's eye, close your mind. Close your mind. Open your mind. Close your eyes. I don't know. I'm new here. I'm a trainee. But close your eyes and think about something that's really, really fun for you that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Whatever that one thing is, I want you to, in your mind, write yourself a permission slip, a doctor's note that says you can do it in the next 7 days. Now open your eyes. Okay, now close your eyes again. Put your left arm in, take your left, no, just kidding. Now this side, I want you to take something in your mind that has been a continual challenge for you day after day, week after week. One thing that you can anticipate is going to happen this week that's not going to be fun. And instead, I challenge you, whatever this one thing is that you're not looking forward to ask God for a way to make it fun. To make it fun for you and anyone else who's involved in it. And open your eyes. It's just that easy. 2 things will change your whole week, month, year, lifetime. This isn't just a Sunday thing. We can practice this every single day. I invite you also to show up on Friday night for our inner child workshop, to let that little kid out of a cage. Let them out to go play with everybody else. I thank you. And I welcome joy back into your world. Say, I welcome joy.
I welcome joy.
Like you mean it.
I welcome joy.
Yeah, I am joy.
I am joy.
Me too.
Me too.
Right on. Let's have fun this week, guys.
And as a reminder of having fun, we have a gift for you.
And it didn't fit the receiving box. You have to give the joy. Now, most of us, joy is about unplugging. It's about doing something a little different. As you look along here, live, laugh, love, woohoo, enjoy, smile, fun, excited, joy, happy faces, right? This is reminding us of a couple of things. 1, joy, right in the center. 2, you kind of got to get outside of your normal environment to play with this. And next, you can do it, but it's a challenge to play with it by yourself. Right? So this is our gift to you this week. And just like in life, there is no one way of doing it. There is no black and white. We'll let you choose, black or white.
Love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, holding tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor.
Now, just like with these frisbees, there is no beginning, there is no end. It just is in circulation. So is giving and receiving. So, if God blessed you with more than you need, we're going to pass around a basket. If you'd like to share some with us, share some with God, share some with the God box, that would be wonderful. Boy, I forget this part every time almost. I ask you to take your gift in your hand and let's turbocharge it with energy as we say the prosperity prayer. I'm going to get rid of my trainee badge, I just know it. So I ask you to take your gift in your hand, and if you agree with what's on the screen, read it with us. Divine Spirit, bless these gifts. I welcome abundance in my life. Bless and multiply all that I am able to give and all that I am willing to receive.
Love is something if you give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Love is something if you give it away. You end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, holding tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor.
Now we can welcome to the stage our friends Darcy and Suzanne. Who are about to
Alright, this song came to me while I was commuting, teaching me to slow it down.
children in the eye. Stand in the sunshine, don't let life pass me by. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Slow it down, slow it down, oh, slow it down. Slow it down, slow it down, oh, slow it down.
We are connected. And the symbol of that connection, I invite everyone to stand up and let's form a circle and hold hands for just a second. This circle reminds us that we're all connected. Life is a team sport. It's a team sport, folks. Wow, what a cool group of folks. What a cool group of family of choice. Folks who love each other by default. Folks who want to see whoever you're connected to the left, look to your left. Do you want that person to be more happy? Oh yeah. How about the person to your right? More joy? Cool. Now let's use a little Mary technique here. Earlier, when she said, give your joy a color and a shape, I'll ask you to close your eyes and give your joy a color and a shape. Whatever that color and shape is, I ask that you run an extension cord from that color and shape to God. The God inside of you, the God outside of you, the God that is connected to all the other parts of God. And amplify that color and shape. Allow it to grow times 10. Times 20, times 100, times 1,000. When it's grown so big that you're now in it instead of it being in you, we're in the right place. When you find that you have too much joy, share it with the person to your right. Let it spill over into them, enhancing their joy, creating a great big ball of joy that's running all the way through this circle, in through your left hand and out through your right hand, overflowing the cup of your life with God's joy. Amen. Now, we started with this song and we'll end with the last couple lines of it.
So help me remember who I am. Help me to trust in the master plan. When I think that I can't, remind me I can. Help me remember who I am.
Now, a couple of key parts there. One, help me remember who I am. And please allow me to help remind you who you are. And two, when I think that I can't, remind me I can. Let me have faith in the master plan. You may not be able to see it all right now, but you can see the part that's right in front of you. And if that part right in front of you carries with it some joy, then it's probably on the right path. Thanks, guys.